G'day team, how we doing? We are back with a pretty exciting picture. So, I've got some fantastic works to kick off with. But before we do, I've got a quick little experiment to do with you lovely people. For the next sort of, probably 2 hours. We're just going to experiment with a few new paints. This paint is oil paint, but not your typical oils. This oil is water-soluble oil paint, so the fumes are supposed to be much lower. So we're going to have our first attempt, since it's windy outside, to paint with these oils inside, and we'll see how we go. I've got very, very high hopes for it, and we're going to kick off with some burnt amber and Payne's grey. We don't have to, but we're going to go from dark into light. But it all depends on where I put my Payne's grey. These are the biggest questions in an artist's life. What did he do with his Payne's grey? There we go. That looks like it. Phenomenal. We're using Payne's grey instead of black. So it probably is black, kinda is. But later on in the piece, if it hasn't dried yet, it mixes better. I find it mixes better. Right. Good thing about water-soluble oil paints. Yes, indeed, Scott. So, and good to hear from you, Scott. I hope you're looking after yourself. They look exactly like oils. This is them here. This is our dark shades. And the reason why they're slightly different is they can be washed with water and soap. They don't need terps and things like this. They're very, very low on fumes. I can smell them here, but I can't smell them from here. So they're very, 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 very light on fumes, which I like. And we're going to give them a go to see if these can be a way of engaging with oils inside. But again, early experimentation, early days. We're just going to dabble with these colours. I'm going to try and paint a bit of Clint Eastwood from Good, Bad and the Ugly. And just swap the scale here a little bit. Interesting. In fact, I think we might even, bear with me for just a moment, swap this to a different shape. A longer one. Oh, well, let's see how it goes. I'm going to give you my feedback. And hello, Jackson. That one's a square. Let's take a quick measurement here, team. One of these is perfectly 3 foot. So it's 1 meter by 91. Perfect. This is the one we're after. I thought for a second there we'd made a terrible mistake, but we've done anything but. Now I think we're going to keep the cowboy hat in the picture and take out the, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll keep the cowboy hat and we'll cut off the bottom part there. I think that's quite fun. There we go. Cowboy hats are fun. Hey Van, how are we doing? And cheers guys. And hello Victoria. Yes, I did disappear for a while, but we're back now, which is pretty exciting. I was doing some adjustments, hey Jules, on the website. And I was adjustments on the website and starting a blog, which was pretty fun. So I've never done it before, but I was starting a blog, adjusting the website, Doing a few little tweaks like that. Keeping myself busy. Oh yes, the art competition. So we came away with a finalist finish, but we didn't come first. We tried our hearts out. We tried our hearts out, but not quite. Cheers, Dean. I appreciate it. We're going to dabble with these and see what the fumes are like. If I start thinking that the fumes on these are too strong, we'll swap out and jump on something like acrylics again. But we'll see how we go. We can only see how we go. It was a fun competition. One thing I do, one thing I like about it, and I encourage about it, was that it's bringing art into the public some more in a unique way. It was art in a bar, which is unusual. Usually you just see it in galleries, sort of stuck on the sides, but not this case. It was looking like that, Ricky, but I was determined. I thought, I'm going to get this website sorted before I jump back on again. I have to do it. I have to do it. And we did it. We got it sorted. You only love Cowboys. Well, you're in the right place. We're painting one. And we're just going to lash around this paint aggressively. It's going good. See if we can't make a cowboy appear. And the cool thing about water-soluble oils is you can add water to it. How wild's that? There we go. Gives you that extra ability to spread the paint around. Thanks, Trina. Here we go. Probably got a little bit too much oil, but that's okay. Come with that dry brush and get that nice wet texture coming through. There we go. There we go. And that'll dry out incredibly fast. Bit more through here. I'd love to be outside today, but that wind is absolutely crazy. There's just wind gushing in all directions. Weather report, I looked at it. Very little rain, but man, it had wind symbols everywhere. I can't hear a thing. It's loud. Oh, gotcha. I was like, oh, Seb, sort out your sound. Yeah, it's loud we are. Okay. Well, as long as I'm not working with shoddy sound. You can be rest assured though, Jade, I am saying nothing very interesting. Just commenting on how windy it is here, how that's relegated us inside today, all that sort of stuff. It's going to bring you back a wee bit. There we go. So I can stand back and spar with this painting a little bit more. Just rotate that a little bit there too. Excusez-moi. Okie dokie. Clint Eastwood look brown. He will. Until we add all the other kaleidoscopic colours to him, he will indeed. And that's all good. Okay, let me just grab this. Here we are. Readjust these floor panels. Perfect. kind of behaves, Scott, a lot like watercolors, actually. Less like acrylics at all. Its water-soluble nature is very, very watercolor-esque, which I find pretty interesting. But I'm really sensitive to the potency of chemicals in paint. So we'll know fairly soon if this is something useful for me, if I think we can use it outside, or if it's going to be a no dice. There we go. Strong colours to kick off with. Connie, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm going to swap into some light colours now. Chuck down that brush there. Going to grab another one. Whew. That's what we're after. Fresh brush. Come on down here. Check this colour. We are golden. Grab a bunch of this. A little bit of water. Back up we come. Aha! Yeah. There'll be a few more of those on with a bit of luck. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was definitely something unique. Art battling. Pretty intriguing, all things considered. Here we go. This one here. This nose comes in. So we just got to scale off slightly there, but that's okay. We'll pull it around. We can make all the sorts of adjustments that we want to make. That's layer one. Layer ones are wild and woolly. There we go. Through here. You enjoyed Art Battle too, Jade? That's good. Yeah. Apparently it's really big in America, but smaller here in New Zealand, obviously. We're just getting started. We're a small island. Don't have things the scale of America. So one day, it might become the gold standard. Here we go. Yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. Are you in Auckland thinking of coming to watch, or are you, did you enjoy the live feed? Hey, Carly. Hello. There. How long's the session going to be for? Uncertain. I never quite know, but we'll kick in anyway, see how we go. Throw around some paint and see how these water-soluble oils treat us. I think from what I've smelt so far through my nose, I think these are definitely best as outdoor paints. I've got a door here cracked in the studio, but I think they're best as outdoor paints. Here we go. Hey Jason, how you doing? You're in the Mount. Well, you know what, Junior? The Mount might end up having one sometime soon. I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised. There we go. Splashing around some colours. This stuff loves to run too, Don't know if you can see it from your angle there, but it does drip a little bit. That's that water-soluble nature coming out in the oils. Kind of fun. Kind of fun. Let's grab some red. Ruby red, baby. Here we go. Mix this up in here. Combine it with the colour we already had. Gives us a magenta. Let's get more of that. There we go. Now we're getting into the colour I'm after. Beautiful. Yes, we're on some oil paints. I think these will be quite good for outside too, because we can play with them, and then the painting will take some time to dry, even with the wind. So our ability to layer will be accentuated, and I kind of like that. I haven't seen a whole lot of, apart from, mixing them with water is pretty fun. But there's nothing wrong with using linseed oil to mix them. So at the moment, fairly similar. There we go. Yes, we are. That's a good guess, Pinkie Pie. It's a bit of a mess right now, but to be able to see that, it's pretty good. Pretty good, I reckon. Let's chuck that one down. Combine in here, get myself a little bit of a purple touch. Hey, Anna, and oil the sides a bit easier, huh? Well, this one doesn't have any sides. It's actually just a flat surface because it's masonite, oil-tempered hardboard. But in terms of adding oil to it, pretty important with regular oil paints to use a lot of linseed. With this stuff, I think the adding of water to it definitely accentuates that drying time without having to use things like liquid or fast dries, which are usually loaded with solvents. A scarecrow? Yeah. Tell you what, Clint Eastwood's got some years behind him. He's probably looking slightly like a scarecrow now. There we go. But this is a painting just for an experiment, guys. Nothing too crazy. Just experimenting with these lovely water-soluble oils. Seeing what we think. They're definitely fun to use. Beautifully buttery. Beautifully buttery. How long have I been painting for? Ooh, today or in general? Today, we're going on a tasty about 20 minutes, I reckon. There we go. Making it smooth down to there. Some adjustments coming up Just going to keep moving around this face. Got double mustaches here, but I'm happier where it's landing the second time round. Just keep pulling things in all directions. There we go. Whee! Having some fun with these oils, but natural lighting coming through. There should be a fair bit. We got the main windows here open, but you're right, it's not quite on the same par. It's not quite on the same par. I like the natural light, to be fair. It also lets you get a good gauge on what time of day it is, which I like as well. You can sort of lose track of time while you're painting, and it's nice to have that recalibrating sun to keep you on form. There we go. Probably too much water there. We'll get rid of some of that. There we go. Here we are. Let's grab a bunch of this. Da-da-dee-dun-dun. You gum as well as paint? Well, it's funny. I was actually trying to experiment with some gum very, very recently. It was a, not gum specifically. Oh, it was actually guar gum. And I was using beeswax, of all the things. Beeswax and guar gum. Trying to find a completely natural method of producing a painting. Beeswax worked pretty well, actually, all things considered. It's pretty efficient. But I think the drying times that beeswax came with were just too short, too quick. So I had to opt out. There we go. But I did experiment with that. Gave it a good go. Gave it a very good go. Should have seen me. I had pots and pans, and I was baking beeswax, and I was combining pigments. Should have actually made a reel on it, but I would have liked to have been able to produce a result. And hey, Zeet, how you doing? Calgary. You know, one day, Zeet, I hope to go back there. Calgary is such an incredible place. Do you know I've never been to the Calgary Stampede? Been to a few bars, met a few fellas wearing cowboy hats, but that's it. That is it. Yeah. Powerful pink. Oil paint pink. Always immensely strong. Always. We're just trying to get background coverage here, and I think pink's a fun colour to do it with. There we go. Beautiful. How are we doing down here? That's all good, just to there. Up in the sky here. You guys are too fast. We're on layer one. Layer one, baby. Layer one, everything's supposed to be a blur. I put too much detail in. We need more wacky colours, more craziness to it. There we go, right up in the corner there. Get some of that colour there. Woohoo! Go drop running, I like that. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But now that we're using these oils here, and they're quite a thin viscosity, I'm trying to put it on at just the right pace to stop it from splashing. So we are a little bit more slow mode today. But like I say, expect that to fade once we can get back outside in that beautiful great outdoors. Breathe that beautiful fresh air. Cascade giant crazy strokes over each other. I like that. There we go. Come across here, combine these two. Get something quite thick. That's what I'm after. That's exactly what I'm after. Hello from London. Welcome on in. G'day JB. Welcome back. Sorry for disappearing on you. It's good to be back. And good to be experimenting with these oils. They're a bit different. They're a bit different. But they certainly hold their colour beautifully well. At the moment, we've definitely decreed that they are an outside oil. Thanks, Jules. And hello, Bertie. So, the same rule that we've had since day one will definitely still apply. Oils are for outside. It's been fun to experiment. It's been fun to experiment. But no, these oils do not break that rule, that golden rule. Oils for outside. All right, let me grab some. This plate here. Blue, intense blue. This is going to look a bit silly, but bear with me. And we're going to use this intense blue both in the foreground and the background. It's going to be wild. Good, Vic. That's exactly what we're after. Surprise, surprise. I didn't know I wanted Barbie Clint Eastwood, but now it's all I want. Now it's the only thing I'll tolerate. Wow, ta-ta. Here we go. A little bit more of this. We'll mix this in here. Lovely. This actually comes down way lower than I've currently got it sitting at. Grab more of that black. There we go. That one there's in the right place though, so what's happening there? It sort of swings. Swings slightly differently. It's a good song by Elton John. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot. You know the song? The pink looks red. Well then, pink looks red, then it looks like Our friend here, Clint, is out looking for trouble. Swing low, sweet chariot. Hey JTD, how you doing? Slash a few of these little lines up into them. There we go. Beautiful. Get that all the way out there. Lovely. All the way out to the edges. And then across the top here. Lovely. So we can do lots of slashing lines here too, which is pretty fun. Oh, that's in the wrong place. Lots of slashing lines with this paint. It really does like a nice definitive, what do you call that, a rooster tail off the end of the brush. Doesn't mind actually cutting through other colours. So our ability to apply detail, even after you think we're finished with detail, pretty tolerant, pretty high. Here we go. Get that gruff beard he's got going on. Start filling it in with this nice colour. Seb Goff looks serious today. Seb Goff looks serious. Well, I am trying to concentrate with these oils. I don't want them to drip on the floor, especially not while they're wet. So, I'm trying to keep that control up. And that's good. Calling me out on that's important. That'll help me loosen up. How can I afford to paint all day? Well, firsthand, I wasn't painting this last little while. I was sorting out a few back-end things. The website, etc. And second off, there's multiple ways to do it. You could be an art teacher. You could be a plumber who paints at night. I suppose if you want to paint all day, though, you'd need to get a night shift somewhere. You could be selling your wares at a farmer's market, selling prints. These are all great ideas. Hey Ryan, how are we doing? How are we doing? Here we go. Cheers, Jules. I appreciate you. Look at us hanging out around a campfire. I think we're not far off needing some brighter colours into this as well, though. But before we do that, I'll just keep dabbling a little bit more with these buttery blues. You can sense where the painting's going, and we got rid of the scarecrow. Careful, careful. He might come back. We might just bring the scarecrow back. See, that's that drier paint coming through there. Beautiful. And then this hat. There we go. And then across here, this is all needing to be shown some love. Shown some love up through here. There we go. Beautiful. Next color. What's it gonna be? What is it gonna be? I like the way these drips run down. Kind of like he's wearing one of those Aussie hats. The ones that have the dangles to stop the flies. Yellow. I don't think that's the worst idea. I think that's a pretty good idea. Probably a very intense yellow, something quite popping. Here we go. This one's got a slight olivey tinge to it. That's fun. And we'll grab this one here too. There we are. And a little bit of water. Just a little bit. Up we come. Hey, Robert. All right. Get a lot of this mixed through. And let's see where this takes us. Quite psychedelic, actually, this shade of yellow. Especially with those pinks already cascading in all directions, but we'll make it work. No, I'm brown here, Dana, but the indoor camera tends to do that. Now, I don't quite know why. Here we go. Here we are. Beautiful. Coming down through here. Just holds those colours so beautifully. That's one reason why I'd want to use oils. That intense saturation. The unversed, unparalleled saturation of colours. You can duplicate it with acrylics, of course, but not as easily. Not as easily as the wild oils, just straight away, straight from the tube, have that intensity, that pop to their colour. There we go. Move into something just a little more orangey. Beautiful. Hey Matt, how we doing? Oh, Jules, I've got friends over there right now. You've probably had a beer with them by now if you're at Oktoberfest, Jules. I wish I was over at Oktoberfest. That sounds like fun. I see everyone on my story coming up, spending time over there, having a good old time. God. The king. The king? There we go. It's fun and crazy? Perfect. Perfect. As long as everyone's safe, then have a blast. We might just pause on these paints, team. We might just pause on these. They're just a wee bit on the fumey side, even though they are water soluble, vegan, low fumes, etc. Low fumes doesn't mean no fumes, and they're still there. So let me grab a freshie and we'll kick into something a little different. Because we can't, can we add acrylics over the top of this? You know what? We can give it a go. It's been a while since I've mixed acrylics and oils, but it's very doable. You're not supposed to do it all the time. You get cracks in it every now and again, but if you really mash into it, typically it's quite interesting. So I'll show you. Just going down. I should bring this into the... So you know I didn't just abandon you outright. I'll bring this over here. This is the acrylic container. You can't mix them off the canvas that easily, but you can mix them on it. That may sound cryptic and strange, but I'll show you in practice in just a second. Drop that down there. Pick this up here and grab this plate. Voila. So, first off, most importantly, let's grab a bunch of acrylic paints. If this will come out of there. Bada bing bang boom. There we go. Beautiful. That one had a little bit of a blockage there. Chaos on the canvas. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Past video. Why do people comment on breaking plates? I've dropped a few, Anna. I don't think I've ever broken one on a live. At least not in the last 6 months. But sometimes we drop a plate, it gets destroyed, and we need to fetch a new one. Perfect. New stuff. Right, and where is our brand new, fresh painter brusher? There we go. So, what you'll notice straight away with these acrylics on top of the oils is they don't play nice. They don't want to mix with the oils. They'll just dance over the top, in and around, but they won't mix into them. So that's always a bit of fun. Destroyed you. Unless you're someone saying silly things on the stream in which I'd respond with a little bit of sass. I don't think any such thing has occurred. Here we go. So you can see that these actually just jump, no matter what color it is. These are on top of darker colors, but still, they leap in there on top and keep their saturation of color. In here, yes indeed. Perfect. And then up and around here. This is going to be fun too once we get into the lighter colors. That's when we're really going to see some impact happen from these acrylics. Largely unaffected by all the chaos of those oils. They'll just jump right on top. Here we go. Let's do it. Bunch of white. Mixing it in. And now, cascade over the surface with it. There we go. There we go. Straight over the top of those oils. Beautiful. Just ask the palace for a picture. The king loves new artists. Well, I'm not quite sure which king you're talking about here, but he sounds like a great guy. Sounds like an art enthusiast. Here we go. Is the static on my end? What sort of static have you got there? Anna, yes, I've heard such things. We're not that isolated down here in New Zealand. There we go. And here. Well, you're not the only place. Don't mean to baffle you here. Don't mean to scare you. But you're not the only place on the face of this planet with a king. Live host. His background doesn't really, so it might be, doesn't really pick up background noises, so that might be it. Oh. That's good news though. Does that mean we are cutting out the background noises? He may have a fan running. There's a weed whacker in the distance. Is it picking up that, is it? That'd be wild. Yeah, you're all good, LJ. I see that at the start. There's a little fuzz when I stop talking. I'll tell you what, guys. I'll try this. You tell me if you can still hear the little fuzz. We'll go like this. How's that? Did that fix the fuzz? Did that make the fuzz worse? Jeepers. So, I mean, it's a possibility. You heard a car drive by. Well, we have those in New Zealand too. It's a wild place here, New Zealand. Cars, information about the world here and there. That did it? Alright. Well, now we know what the thing was. It's a good start. Here we go. Right. Yeah. I try and also, though, with the reels and things, to have that same element of candidness to it. Like, I posted a reel today. My voice cracked while I was talking. And I was like, well, everything else was perfect. So maybe I'll just post it. So it felt a little silly, but it was good. It's still staticky. Jeepers. The sound here. Is your audio connected to your AirPods? No, it's not, but I'll tell you what we can do. How's that feel? Is that better or worse? Did we fix the problem? I turned down the receiver gain on the mic. Almost. Alright. It's worse. Jeepers creepers. It's worse? It's okay now? What? LJ, I did not. We got close though. Man, we got close, but I did not. It's a tough crowd tonight, indeed. What if I just put it there on 0? Okay, starting from now. Is it? So wait, I just did a little change there, Victoria. So starting from now? Now? Maybe we never get it resolved. Maybe we just are bound to swap it left and right in perpetuity. It's okay. Starting. Oh God. Never mind. I lied. It's not fine. Okay. What if I go for a happy medium? So I can go down to 12. Had on 6 before. So what if I go for -3? How's that? Thanks, LJ. I appreciate that. Oh, look, we did our best, and there were a ton of kids there. We inspired a lot of people. I think, on the whole, rather than seeing it as a competition, it was a really good opportunity to actually have art out there and have some fun. That was the important thing. Still staticky. I wonder what's causing the static. Unless... Here, let me try something else. Let me try something else. Let me try something else. Trying different things. Mixing up things. Going from one thing to another. How about that? How's that? Did we fix all the challenges? I think we might have. I want to make sure everyone here feels comfortable. No static. Just beautiful noise. Good for now, kind of. Okay, seriously, this time it sounds great. Don't touch anything. Well, that's good. It's where we want to be. It's where we want to be. There we go. Perfecto. And now we've got buffering. Jeepers creepers. Hard to get everything right around here, that's for sure. There we go. It's telling me on my end that we've got a beautiful connection. And then, obviously, it's not the case. TikTok's deceiving me. How wild's that? How naughty is that, TikTok? Lying to my face. Saying we got a good connection, going around and then not having a good connection. How dare they? Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I think we've done all the playing I can do. And so we'll just need to, at this stage, tolerate what we got. There we go. So see how that comes right out there. That's the background there now, but just giving that a little bit more of an acknowledgement rather than it just being that, oh, it's beautiful. Just being that pink. And we have a Jay Smith in the house. Welcome on in, Jay Smith. Static never really bothered you? So we did have static, but then of the static, we did fix it. So the static that we had is now fixed. Hello, William. It is an experiment. Started with those water-soluble oils, going into our acrylics. Still just plain. No requirement. This doesn't need to become anything. It may not become anything yet. It's all just wild. It has the ability to maybe turn into something. It has the ability to slowly fade into an abstract, wild mess. And our only job is to enjoy whatever direction it heads in. That's all we have to do. Don't need to make it this or make it that. Of course, if it was a commission, I might try and steer the ship a little bit towards success. Control 1 or 2 brush strokes just here and there to get the result that we want to see. But with this one, lost in its own little world, no owner, just me and you guys and the canvas. We'll just risk it all with every stroke. I think that's fun. Yeah, see, just have fun. There we go. King Charles will reward me. Jeepers, that sounds pretty exciting. I didn't know King Charles was on TikTok. But it's fantastic he is. Does he post like review videos for headphones and things? Or like opinion pieces in the morning after he's had his coffee? He's like, you know what really bugs me? I don't know why I gave him a deep south accent, but you know what I mean. Here we go. There we go. Cheers, LJ. I think it comes from a long time I spent counselling with children. Called us camp counsellors. So I was a summer camp counsellor. And you couldn't swear because you're around kids all day. So I would spend my time, if anything popped into my head, going, jeepers. Because you can say that around little tackers. Pinkie Pie. Great question. So with my style, there was definitely a period at the start where I was so caught up on realism. And the way I describe that is caught up on trying to make the picture what I wanted it to be. Because that's what I thought other people wanted to see. It was only once I left art school, lived a bit of life, went around a few corners, went back a few steps, went forward a few steps, and back a few more, that I came back to art, and I did it for me. And that was, weirdly enough, when you're older, you're not so afraid of being exposed. You're not so afraid of people seeing you in a more vulnerable way. And so I started making art for me. And suddenly the pieces I was making were connecting with people better than anything I'd ever made before. And I realized that actually, when I pour love into a work, when I feel emotion towards a work and I enjoy every second of it, that creates a piece that people gravitate towards. Not something that I sacrificed for, that I broke myself for, that I struggled through for. That's different. This is true. This is true. But when I say when I got older, I'm talking about 16-year-old, 20-year-old Seb, and then 10 years later, I'm talking about 30-year-old Seb. So, although I'm not old at all, still a young spring chicken, the point of what I'm saying is there's a past version of me that was hung up on the result. There's a current version of me that tries, and I say you can only try, to ignore the result completely and focus utterly on the process. And a loved process gives you a loved result. So I couldn't just start like this, I don't think. in high school. I think we will go on our own little process, our own little journey, our own little pilgrimage to find our style. So when we say, how long does it take to find a style? I guess we're sort of asking, how long's a piece of string? You've got your own journey to go on. Here we go. Let's get a bit more through here. And now I want a darker colour. Something quite slashy, I think. Let's take this off of here. Put that down here. Lift this up here. We're going to get a nice dark shade. What is it going to be? Naphthol crimson. Yeah, that'll be fun. Ask them for the picture first. They'll get back to you. I didn't realise you could just email or call the king or queen. But that's pretty exciting. And that's good, Pinkie Pie. I'm glad we talked some sense. That's a perk. Here we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. We're going to tuck in with some Naphthol crimson. There we go. There we are. Coming down the side here. Lovely. And then down through here. Come on. Just a little bit. Evaluating where we'd like to see those reds go. It is simply that simple. All right. Well, it'd be a delight to go talk to the king and queen. I didn't realise they'd be that fast on their emails for a random Kiwi down here in New Zealand painting portraits. But if they are, that's fantastic, and I am so excited. There we go. The brand of oil paint, we've actually swapped off the oil paint and we're currently using acrylics on top of oil paint. And then people say, oh, you can't do that. And I say, well, I just did. The oil paints I was using though were Norma Blue water-soluble oil paints. And now we're chucking on just regular acrylic with the intentions of creating some fun, diverse layering. Because they won't mix with the oils. They'll sit proudly on top. So you'll notice this red just leaps on there and doesn't blend in at all. And yes, we'll get some awkward moments where the layers will crack ever slightly. But we're not trying to actually layer acrylics on oils or oils on acrylics. We're trying to fill in the gaps with oils, fill in the gaps with acrylics, so they'll rub up beside each other. It's a different outcome. And as they rub up beside each other, they just push each other to the side. It's kind of cool. They don't want to mix. Yeah. So, because the oil and acrylic have very, very different dry times, typically, we really encourage, it's very much encouraged not to put them in the same place. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But if used correctly, it can be quite fun to play with. There we go. Now I'm just going to grab a wee bit, if I have a look-see here, That's predominantly acrylics around the eyes. So I'm going to grab a wee bit of Payne's Grey and cut into those eyes. Here we go. Wee bit of water. There we are. Beautiful. Am I doing transparent layers? I don't know yet. I don't know, Victoria. But we might. We might. We'll just take it as it comes. Here we go. Yum, yum, yum. Beautiful. And now we're going to accentuate those eyes, the cigarette, and the mouth. That may be the end of our play. Cigarette in here. Is that cigarette? Beautiful. And that comes down through here, sort of a mutton chop. Beautiful. And then up through here too. That's that hair, big bold swings to make the hair. It's darkness. I'll express that. There we go. And then there's an eyebrow here, which is quite stern. Capture that. Just like that. Aiden, I'll get to that question. 1 second. A mirror stream? I don't quite understand that, but ooh, jeepers, kicked over my water. When I started doing art, I was serious about art all through high school, all through the beginning of my university career. And I think you drift off it once you get out there into the world. Sometimes things change. And then while I was actually working a different job, I did art to keep me sane. And then art started to become far too consuming. It took up too much time. I was spending 40 hours on art and 40 hours working. And I thought one of these things has got to give. And so I made the move and chose art. Started doing art full time and started focusing on painting. Instead of just 40 hours, it went drastically up. Many, many hours spent painting. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. And then that's the story. That's the story. I was doing commissions while I had another job. People started asking for work here and there. And so I'd make them a commission, but then I had too many commissions and I ended up actually, wait times would go out. And so I had to start telling people I couldn't do their work because I had another job to focus on. I got to the point where I actually had to make a decision that, all right, let's not have another job to focus on. Let's just give all my time to making art for people. There we go. Thanks, Jarby. I appreciate that. Beautiful. All right. And we'll pause there on this crazy face. We've had a fair bit of fun. It's coming together. I think we can see a Cowboys face, and we can see that squint as he looks off. Is it finished? Any man's guess. Probably not, though. I think it needs some more. But it's very raw right now, and raw is always quite fun when you see something quite candidly fresh. And of course, as you apply more layers, you can take away from that really raw element of a piece. And at the moment, the grimace and the squint is quite abundantly clear. So who knows? Who knows? Right. Let me swap out this one now. Even if we wanted to keep going, we couldn't. It's too wet. It's too wet. So we'll take this one down. There we go. I'll take this one away with me, and then we'll start something a little different. Give me just a second. Some sweet day I'll make her mine, pretty flamingo. 'Cause every guy will envy me. Paradise is where I'll be. Da 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 da. La da 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 da. 'Cause every guy will envy me. All right, who knows what this is? Who recognizes this? Do we have anyone here from the Instagram subscribers, is the question. If we do, you'll recognize this. If you're here from the Instagram subs, you'll recognize this. Dun 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 dun. Scoop up this. There we go. So, okay, so recently there were two young children in my studio who were going around having some fun, playing around with the art, and basically just having a good old time. And anyway, this is what they made. This giant, chaotic Picasso. I gave them... Close, Rick. Close. I gave them a whole bunch of paint, and this is what they made. One thing you got to love about a child, though, is their desire to fill space, but they're not afraid. In terms of this part here, if an adult painted the picture, we would put all our focus into the middle of the canvas. But a child loves the sides. Loves the sides. So, just one little thing I always notice. They don't devalue this part because it's not in the center. And I think as we grow older as adults, we do devalue anything in art that's not in the center. And we want work to be centered. And we want to see the pretty thing in the middle and then have whatever around it. But it's kind of beautiful that kids don't typically or don't often think like that. And they put the most paint around the outside. Thanks, Enrico. I appreciate that. So anyway, we won't continue with their piece. They've had their fun. We are going to continue with something a little bit different. Something a little bit different. And I think we can decide here together what it's going to be. Some sweet day I'll make her mine. Pretty flamingo. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can either go from, I can give you all the options, and we can choose our favorite, or I can show you one at a time until we say, yeah, that's the one. Or we can keep doing this or that. I think this or that might be funner. That way all the images are a mystery, but if you see them, you'll know what's coming. So, and speaking of, guys, we do have a hula girl, a Mardi Gras pick, and a family shot to paint. But we're not starting them today. And the reason we're not starting today is they deserve to be started outside in the beauty of nature. So that's the plan. Ooh, 1:40 p.m. in London. Yeah, cheers, mate. It will be. Absolutely, it'll be uploaded to YouTube. So, this one here, or is that too blurry? It might actually be too blurry. We're going to leave out these two. These are our flamingo shots. And the reason we'll leave these two out is we're going to put those onto a surfboard. That's a little passion project of mine. 1 a.m. Now I'm following. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay. First question, team. Do we want a character facing towards us or away from us? JB, I'll catch you later, mate. Look after yourself. Bye for now. Thanks for joining in too. I appreciate it. Okay. Towards us or away from us? What's it going to be? I've got 2 towards here and 1 away. Whee. Is that one too zoomed in? Could be pretty fun. I'm going to do this one. We're going to do quite an interesting painting, guys. This one is Hercules. Who's seen Hercules be painted? It's going to be fun. It's not Hercules in the flesh. It's Hercules in the marble. So this is a statue. And it's the statue, I think it's in Greece. And our job's going to be to try and represent that picture of Hercules. Our other options was a Roman emperor and Statue of Liberty. But the Liberty statue is more about a landscape. It's got a bit of everything there into it. But we did that recent picture of New York, so this creates some more variance. Hey Cindy, I am indoors today. It's very, very windy outside, so we're navigating that. Right, let's make this chaotic little expressive piece done by those crazy little kids. Crazy little kids, lovely little kids. They were lovely. Just need to change the scale of it just a wee bit. There we go. So it fits. There we go. Perfect. And we might need to come down a little bit. But I think we'll be all right. We'll start here anyway. We'll start here. Da 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 do. Every gas and then me. Just create the shape. Be like, it's gonna look quite bizarre to start with because we're not just cutting these shapes over the top here. We're literally work over the top of white. We're literally working on top. Oh no, Rick, this one's Steve. The beauty of this one is it's going to be all about form. And so, key to capturing that, long, smooth brush strokes that are confident, clear. They'll play a massive role. Massive role in making the whole picture come together. There we go. Then up around here. There we go. There comes the whole way down. There we go. Yeah, it's coming together quite well. Again, like I say, long strokes. Create that form. Create that form. It is cold and it is rainy here in New Zealand. So that's what we're navigating right now. Studio's nice and peaceful though, team. Studio's nice and peaceful. Okay. That's enough on that one. What else have we got here? Take this one off here. This will be good. There we go. Grab this. A little bit of a surprise. Ooh, yes. Wow. This is going to be fun. Looking a bit wild. It's a shame to actually lose the crazy picture the kids did, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, and hello, Lore. How you doing? Just a bit more of this, not too much water. It's water soluble, but if you add too much, it starts behaving fairly similar to ink. But if you don't add enough, it won't run. So you got to make sure you get it spot on. Yeah, but that's the important part. These paintings are like little caterpillars, guys. Sometimes you get people who come in here, or whatever you're doing. Are you starting a business? Are you going to the gym? Like, with all these things, you start off small. You start off from a beginning point. You start off learning. Or even if you're great, you start off at the beginning of a journey. And when you do that, it doesn't look like the end. My favorite examples are like a house. Think of a house when you're first building it. At a certain stage, it's literally just concrete in the ground. Nothing but a whole bunch of plans and concrete and metal coming out. And then eventually the walls come in. The cladding goes on. The carpet goes down. The paint goes on the walls. The furniture comes in. And then the whole house is complete. And no one ever remembers what it looked like with just concrete and metal in the ground. And so, painting's no different. There's a stage where it's a caterpillar. There's a stage where it's in a cocoon sometimes. Falls off the wagon, so you have to put it into hibernation for a while. And then there's a stage where it's no longer a caterpillar or in a cocoon, it becomes a butterfly. And not straight away either. It gradually comes out of the cocoon, I find. It's in there, and then suddenly it's on its way out, and it's there in front of you. A beautiful picture. But if you want butterflies, don't be ashamed for the world to see your caterpillar. That's that being exposed, being vulnerable, being able to be you. Yeah, Z, I appreciate it, and you've made your point very clear. We're all very, very appreciative of how clear that point's been made. Here we go. An element of wilderness here. This is fun. There we go. Cheers, Lorraine. I'm having a great day. Just slowly building up layers on this fairly... He's a very, very... I mean, he's Hercules, so it makes perfect sense, actually. There we are. A few buildings here. There we go. Metamorphosis. See, sometimes paintings go through challenges, especially when you paint the whole thing at once like this. It's on the right direction, it flies off the direction, it's on the right path, it's on the wrong path. Really? It's going in all directions. And sometimes all you have is faith in yourself that you can bring a painting back and put it on the right direction. How long did it take for me to make my voice? Well, let's say 30 years. 30 years. It started very, very high-pitched. I cried a lot in the first two. And then I didn't talk so much. From about the 5th year to the 7th year, it's quite a tired, timid voice. And then from the 7th year to about the 20th year, I wouldn't shut up. And then, yeah, that's it. Okay. So you'll start to see a few little bulges, bits of form that we want to elevate and make clear. It's amazing how almost straight away we can start to see that cut line at the back. Hercules. Loved the Disney show though. If you've seen the Disney show, pretty cool. Here we go. Yes, indeed. There we are. Just going to splash paint. It's a very, very thick surface, so it's going to take multiple layers to really establish the colours we're after. And we don't mind if the paint runs a little bit. That's okay. Here we are. That's fantastic, Cindy. Don't let it, never let it stop you from trying. At the end of the day, painting something very, very personal. It's kind of like singing. If you had to be the best singer in the world in order to sing, the world would be a very cold and lonely place. That's not the case. Everyone has permission to sing. And we sing because it feels good. It feels right. It's a way of expressing ourselves. Being real. So, with that in mind, I mean, think of Van Gogh, Monet. No one purchased Van Gogh's work. No one really purchased Monet's all that much. But they did it because it made them happy. Thanks, Summer. Bob Ross by the pool. I like it. I like it. That's a fun way to do it. Bob Ross by the pool. Sounds like a fantastic new album about to drop. Palm trees and turquoise water? Stop making me jealous. Here we go. All the way out to the edges here. Beautiful. Just like the mind of a child. The mind of a child that values all parts of the painting equally. That wants to see coverage. That wants to see the corners be cared about just as much as the centre. We've given the centre a whole lot of love. Now let's share that love with these sides. Beautiful. Down through here. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate you. And haven't seen you lately, Gazoo. No, you haven't. What do I do to avoid a bad mood? It's not about avoiding a bad mood. It's like saying, how do you avoid, if you're a hiker, we're all hikers in a metaphor of life. How do you avoid sand and swamps? Well, you can do your best to, but if you end up in one, realize that it's not permanent. It's healthy to actually feel a range of emotions. And then after you've done that, don't just stop in that mood. A lot of people get in a bad mood and they go, I'm in a bad mood. I'm stuck here now. How many times did you enter a happy mood and be like, oh, I'm in a happy mood. I'm stuck here now. Like, for some reason, we feel like happy moods are fleeting and bad moods are permanent. And this is a weird way to structure the human condition. It's not like that at all. Happy moods are as fleeting as bad moods are. You just need to realize that a bad mood is temporary. You can ride it out and you will be back to your happy self shortly. Just like a good mood is temporary. And so you've got a responsibility to yourself, not to anyone else, just to you. A responsibility to enjoy it and really bask in it. Really enjoy being allowed to be happy. Like when I say allowed to be happy, allowing yourself to be happy. I think a lot of the time it's got nothing to do with anyone else. We just deny ourselves to be happy. We just strangle our own happiness. It's almost as if we're questioning why it's there. Let yourself be happy. I mean, you watch all these YouTube videos, inspirational videos about where you should be going. And yes, you should absolutely strive to go places, be someone. But in a singular moment, don't let where you're currently at or how far you've currently got stop you from having a genuine smile and enjoying life for a moment. If it does that, if it stops that, in that YouTube video did you no service whatsoever. Thanks, Jules. That'd be pretty fun, actually. I'd get a bit of a kick out of doing greeting cards. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Lots of form. Down through here. Beautiful. Splash paint up over the shoulder. It's his trap. Here's a deltoid. Beautiful. Then obviously this part up here, very much so. Ton of this tan. Ton of this tan. There we go. Again, not trying to demand form, but if we get it, we get it. Kelly, you're a legend. You're an absolute legend. I just want to gently nurse Alexander out. It's not Alexander. I mean, mixed up with the last painting. Gently nursing Hercules out. And I think it's a bit poetic too that Hercules is represented not by his face, but by his form. It's funny, I wonder if Hercules ever wished people saw his personality more. But instead, we're just staring at his back. There we go. I was reading a book, Mythos, by Stephen Fry, where he talks about the legacy and travels of Hercules. No, that's in the book Heroes, sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Anyway, in that book, we talk about the trials and tribulations of Hercules and what he went through. Stephen Fry does a fantastic job of writing it all out. And in that book, Hercules, he's not clever, but he's no slug. If he was a slug, he would have never made it as far as he did, because many a great person tried to catch him out. You have to go to work. All right. Catch you later, Kelly. Thanks for popping on in. I always appreciate you being here. Water for hydration. Stay hydrated. All right. Next color off the ranks. It's going to be blue. Oh, silly me. Wait, is that? Yeah, we will do that. Hold on. Hold the horses. So just a little bit through here. Just going to grab this and turn this just a little bit more white. It's a little bit intense there. That can go there too. That's just distracting. That's just distracting. And then same with that part there. And that part there. So we're still keeping some of this stuff that we're still keeping some of the stuff the kids have done. We're keeping some of those strokes and some of those colours. And a lot of them have become the underlying layers that make up Hercules, which is fun. Pretty enjoyable, actually. Very, very fun form to capture. Next thing to do, now that we've got so much... No, I take that back. We're going to do an ever so slight bit of blue. Blue, is this the right colour? Too saturated, probably. We'll give it a go. We'll use a bit of blue. And we'll use a bit of deep blue. Splice between the two. Add a bit of water to this. There we go. Beautiful. Bluetiful. And then we'll pick up this. Time to paint. This is what we want. And what's fun about this is as we start to see the Hercules we want to see, then and only then, What was I saying? Something about seeing Hercules. But then we can cut across into our acrylics. Not just yet. Not just yet. Okay. I want to really feel the shape and the form of this back. There we go. And down through here. Beautiful. So, the key to colours and strokes is not to get hung up on any individual colour or any individual stroke. And actually, the painting itself will not be decided by where you put your paintbrush in the next 2 seconds for the first stroke or the last stroke. It'll be a culmination of correct strokes over a long period. We may have made 300 strokes now, maybe 300 to 500, and we haven't let a single one of them be more important than the next. And if we do that, all those strokes with the best of intentions can all come together and make a painting come to life. That is the plan of attack. In terms of the colours, we'll use all the colours. We'll spare no colour. Every colour will end up on this picture. So how does that work? Well, we look to our picture and we instinctually just try and feel, where do we want that colour to go? What do we want to accentuate here? And when I say accentuate, not in terms of how to get the character to look correct, but what actually feels right. A deeper blue to harness those deeper corners of his body. A pink to add a more sensitive side to a subject matter that has an intensity. A tan, adding a bit of life to a bit of stone that would typically be just marble. These are all good reasons. There we go. Beautiful. I'm mixing a bit of this blue now. Powerful blue. There we go. So much texture. So much texture on this canvas. Black Bunny. Good to have you in here, Black Bunny. I didn't realise you'd snuck on in. Unless you just came on in which case I can forgive myself. Here we go. That's all good, Jules. Thanks for coming on in. And sorry for being a bit late. You know, I spent the morning cleaning up the studio and I spent a lot of the time running around. Running around. I tell you what, running around trying to find my receiver. Everywhere I looked, I could not find it, Jules. I could not find it. And anyway, I hunted and I hunted. Eventually, I thought, I'm just going to start. I've just got to start. I'm running out of daylight. You know what I did? You know what happened to me? I grabbed the camera and I pulled it to position. And then my unit, my little speaker piece, fell to the ground. It fell to the ground off the camera. It had been perched on top of the camera. Why was it there? Because I remember very, very clearly, right after it fell, I'm going to leave it here because I won't possibly forget where it is if it's on top of the camera. The one place I didn't look, on top of the camera. I searched the floor. I searched the walls. I searched everywhere. I got every piece of my clothing and I checked every pocket. I tell you this and I tell you that. But it was not enough. Only to find, if I'd just started at the beginning, I would have found it immediately. How funny is that? Anyway, this is Hercules. We're making Hercules. There we go. There we go. It was, yeah, it was pretty, a pretty wild trip. A pretty wild trip. Right. Let's have a little look to where we're at. So who sees Hercules coming out of it now? Cheers, Taylor. I think we see some Hercules. This is good. Right. The next thing we're going to do, because the acrylics are on, because the oils are on so thick now, so thick, we're going to move on to acrylics. If you haven't seen me do this before, this is an old school thing. I came up with this technique when I was about 28. So only if I started perfecting, close. It's, sorry for pointing, it's, Hercules. You're all good, Jules. I'll catch you later. Thanks for hanging around for my little yarn there. Well, it's actually a statue. It stands in the middle of town. So, beautiful statue too. Got to admire the workers, the sculptors who make things like this. Right, I'm going to wash this oil off my hands. And like I say, coming back, because what we're going to be doing is adding in the acrylics, which, like I say, special technique, because the acrylics and the oils don't play nice together. They don't go all weird, but they don't combine. They don't combine. They stay separate. And so I can add whites onto blacks, blacks onto whites, blues beside purples, beside yellows, beside greens, and they will not mix if it's oil and acrylic right beside each other. So there's our oils. We've had some fun, and now we're going to chuck on the acrylics. Where he walks into the barn. I mean, I can see that. But you've sort of put me out a little bit because I was doing Hercules. And now that you've said Wolverine, I'm just like they're like 25, 30% gutted that it's not Wolverine. So that's pretty fun, Taylor. That's pretty fun. Send me through a picture. Jump on Instagram or the email, or even in the chat in TikTok. Send me a picture and we'll see if it's possible. But like I say, this is an experimentation. We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We're playing with these water-soluble oils. We're playing with these acrylics. I want to be outside. I've got a couple of works that I really, really want to, I know you do, John. I'm just playing with you. I really, really want to start, excuse me, but I want to do it outside, and it's just a little bit windy today. So, Cindy, you're out of here. Great to have you, Cindy. Right, let me wash my hands. Let me grab those acrylics, and let's continue. In fact, if the speaker's good, you might even be able to walk with me through here. Here we go. A little bit of brush cleaner. Get that on your hands. The reason why you want to get the oils off you is apparently oils have the ability to penetrate skin to a degree. And so you should try and keep it off your hands. I used to wear gloves, but I find that would make my hands get much too sweaty. Couldn't control the brush well enough. So anyway, I cut that habit. But it does mean I have to be cleaner and stop these oils from getting everywhere. Kind of like I did this session. It's to be avoided. There we go. Beautiful. Got a little drink here, actually. Have a sip on this. Right. Oh, wowza. This is looking very cool, guys. This is going in all sorts of the right direction. Right. Now, speaking of right directions, I'm going to take my mic off for a moment because I need to go to the bathroom. Let me just do a little time thing here. Hold on. Where is it hiding? Dun, 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 dun. Edit this. Change the time. Done. Ding. There we go. Right. I'll be back. And we're sorted. Oh, I was super fast. You want to say something? Fair enough. And you missed your chance, Fashion Nation Street. You tried. You tried though. Right. Okay. Okie dokie. What's going to be next here? I did make it. Let me grab this little mic here. So that way you can hear me rather than talking at the ground. Okay. What plate is going to be next? Well, I think... How's this one doing? I can possibly use that. I think I've got a better one for the job though. I think I've got one through here. I've been saving a few of these. Here we are. Yes, indeed. Just down in here. My special stack of plates. Crying out for some attention. Here we go. Now, what do we feel the next color needs to be? Ping. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's do this one. Pop and pink. A couple of shades in here. 1 and 2. And 3. That wasn't me, that was the paint, I swear. I swear. There we go. Paintbrush here. And then there's a little miniature container somewhere around here. Here we are. With my very, very special gloss medium. This is a highly concentrated one. This is the one we're after. Hello, Cheryl. You have not. You have not. I've been all over the show, though. It's absolutely phenomenal to have you here. Here we go. A little bit in here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to keep getting this similar to Alexander the Great in terms of philosophy of using a whole lot of those smoother, salmony, violety, magenta tones to bring out a more sensual, sensitive, calming side of the statue. I don't want it to be tough and rough and strong. I want that strength to be not overshadowed, but complemented by a more sensitive element inside the colour. See, colour is what we get to play with. Colour is what we've got as our tool for why something like this could exist in a painting form rather than just as something like a statue. If the statue is so perfect with its form, why pick up a paintbrush? Because with the colour, we can give the statue feelings and emotions. Transpose something cute and cuddly onto a statue. Kind of fun. Kind of fun. All right. Once. Is TikTok doing that thing again? Cheeky monkeys. How could they? I'm not sure why it does that too. But it does. I guess it's a nice surprise though, Cheryl, because sometimes you're just scrolling along and then bang, Seb's there painting a big back of Hercules out of nowhere, straight out of the blue. Here we are. Pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool. Thanks for the Kiwi, John. I appreciate you. John, speaking of, we are progressing fantastically with that frame. I will send you some more pictures in the very near future. Pretty exciting. God, I'm enjoying this picture. It's kind of fun, feeling the brush go over the surface in a way that actually leaves behind the expression of human form and muscle. It's kind of fun. And I'm going to leave the face fairly abstract and ambiguous because it's not about the face. In fact, actually leaving there to be more abstraction in the face, I prefer, because it's almost like our own way of saying, we're valuing Hercules' brawn and his form more than his brain. Which, if you've read Heroes by Stephen Fry, it's pretty similar to how they talk in that about Hercules. He doesn't really get the time of day from any of the other gods or humans about his brains. It's a lot of fun made of him. Cheers, John. You did not get an email. That's weird, John. I'll sort you out. I will sort you out, my friend. Here we go. Did not get an email. Very strange. Well, once I'm off here, John, I'll figure out what's going on there. Which will be my #1 priority. Once I come off this. Well, this and a few exciting things on the burner at the moment. My first blog post, that was pretty exciting. Started a blog. And it's not really about, there'll be a couple with me talking, but predominantly, I wanted to hear from other people because I feel like I do a lot of talking. And it's kind of cool to hear from other people who are exposed to, surrounding, or engaged with art. Thanks, Jose. I appreciate you. Oh, that's strange. That's strange. So you get the Discord ones, but not the email ones. Okay. Because we had that, I think we had a problem with emails at the start there. Or I've had issues at the past where it sat the email in the outbox on my end, which is very niggly. So that's happened. I will figure it out. And obviously my apologies that my apologies that it's even happened in the first place. There we go. Where is the blog? So, we're still seeing Hugh. All right. You know what? Hugh's a beautiful man. You're welcome. So sorry, Jay Smith. The blog is going to be on the website, and then I'll send out emails, etc., with updates on new blog posts, etc. There's only one up there at the moment, and it was an amazing interview, or some questions I sent to a collector who has collected 2 pictures now, and the 2 landscapes, one's of New York and one's of Santa Fe, a city different, and I wanted to see it more from his mind and his perspective. You've had mine in terms of the long format live where we talk about it, the color choices, how it builds up, what we're doing and why we're doing it, but not from the second side, because there's 2 sides to these paintings. There's the side of the artist, who's sort of a conduit in the creation process, and then there's the side of the client. And the client brings something very, very important to a commission. They bring a lot of inspiration, a lot of desire. Without the client there, the painter would quickly become a craftsman, doing the same thing over and over. But there's a love that gets brought in. I'm passionate about this creature, this person, this place, this memory, this feeling. Help me express that. It's a great thing for an artist to be involved in. Thanks, user. But no, it's not me. I think Hercules stood about 7 foot tall as well. Which is lucky that he existed before planes. But not so lucky if you're hungry. Because you need a lot more food. There we go. And then let's dive down through here. This is really, really fun one to bring together. And you can see how, even though it's wet, I'm still able to throw out more colors onto the surface of the canvas. Because we're dancing between that acrylic and oil. It's actually probably my favorite technique, dancing between the 2. But it's high risk, because if you don't mix it just right, you can cause crackling effects, which can ruin paintings. You can cause, what else can you cause? Dry times, excessively long dry times. That can happen too. It's all possible. All right, Pinkie Pie, thanks for coming on in. We'll catch you later. Here we are. Ah. Change of plan. Not that one. That one's still closed. I don't want to open up multiple. Correct, John. We should be wearing a mask. So we're actually we're using low odor oils, and we're using regular acrylics, low odor oils with that are water soluble. So it doesn't mean it's fixed, but I did want to trial them inside and just see what the actual fumigation was going to be. Now, what's interesting is my air purifier has picked up 0 things in the air, which is interesting. But that doesn't tell me that there's 0 things in the air. It tells me that it's not picking them up. So I think the solution we're going to land on here is that all painting is done outside. I do want to use these oils in the next few works. I don't think there's a compromise I want to go with, because I know the effects we can get from acrylics are fantastic, but we're going to sacrifice some of those effects, some of those transparent layerings that we've been doing, because I'm afraid that if I do it another 3 or 4 times, I'll start turning this transparent layering and craziness into just a craft, and we do not want that. We want the ability for spontaneous, random fun to take place, and we'll deny that if we get too hung up off our little acrylic technique. Now, I love the acrylic technique. I love multiple transparent layers bouncing over each other. Don't get me wrong. We're onto something really cool there. But change is important. Keep the style fresh. Keep you fresh. Keep me fresh. Guessing. There we go. Perfect. Just gonna highlight down through here. Keep those strokes long. We're not going to let them fall away. These long strokes that make these paintings beautiful. Confident movements. That's the key. There we go. Sneaking through here. Sneaking in here. Beautiful. Down here. There we are. Howdy, Brian. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Is this statue in Australia? I think the statue is in Greece. Or did I see it in Italy? Jeepers, John, I forget where this photo was taken now. I forget where it was taken by, but if you Google it, statue of Hercules, there'll be 1 million people with the exact same photo. That's the beauty of statues. The lighting can change ever so slightly, but only ever so slightly. There we go. Thanks, Vernon, and good to have you in here. Not the NFTs. Jeepers. I think Panule reminds me of like someone who knew you from high school, who knew you from like one thing, like maybe you threw your hat in the air, and then you meet him like 30 years on at like a high school reunion. And he's like, well, but isn't the man who throws the hat in the air? And you're like, yeah, yep, that did happen 30 years ago. Correct. That being said, the NFTs weren't 30 years ago, so it's the wrong example. But we have some... I've got a few NFTs I drop to subscribers, which is pretty fun. So, if you're a subscriber and you've got a wallet, send the wallet address through to me, and I will send you high-quality JPEGs. Kind of fun, actually. Cheers, Mac Attack. But no, it's not quite me. I wish. I wish. Oh, this is a hot pink team. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Here we go. Hello, hot pink. In you come. And we're going to sneak you up in here too. Hello. Over these shoulder blades, down through here. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Okay. I'm going to sneak this down through here. Beautiful. Yeah, imagine if this was, like, not that I'm anywhere near the size of this gentleman, but, like, imagine if this was a self-portrait, the first one. How arrogant would you be? I think if I was to do a self-portrait, I'd do something... I think there's an arrogance to the self-portrait in the first instance. I mean, something ever so slightly narcissistic to why I'd be choosing my face over the rest of the world. And in that sense, I'd want to do something quite, not self-deprecating, but like a caught off guard, sudden, candid face. I'd paint something unusual. I'd ask someone else actually, what's a photo they think really represents me? And they wouldn't choose the most heroic picture of you. They'd choose something quite, you know, you'd be almost quite vulnerable or exposed. And I wouldn't like it. And then I'd have to paint it. And that would be the true reality of the situation. Well, the argument I fall back on when we talk about things like self-portraits, and I know Van Gogh did a lot, but he didn't have the internet, is think about it in terms of if you could paint whatever you wanted in the world and you had Google at your fingertips to literally collect any photo, any expression, any moment, and every colour's right there in your arsenal waiting to be used. And you opted for your face, the thing you wake up to and wake up with and look at in the mirror every morning. You denied this world of opportunity, this world of imagination and creativity and ideas and love to choose you. I just, in terms of what I see out in the world every day, the ocean, the sky, the trees, the people, the stories, the beauty, I'm the most boring thing I come across. And the ability to express everything else in the world, having the ability to in some way capture other elements of the world through you, oh, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, when you put it that way, eh? I'm not shooting down what you're saying, and like I say, Van Gogh painted his face over and over again, and I think it's because he had a mirror, but not a whole lot of friends. I think that comes into it. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. I think that comes into it, and that's why he did flowers, or a room, because it was things he had in front of him that he could actually capture right then and there. But yeah, there's just so many things I haven't painted yet, guys. It keeps me up at night. It's like, have any of you ever been readers in terms of, or are readers in terms of reading a whole lot of books? And do you ever go to sleep at night wondering how you're going to read more books and worry about the books that you haven't read yet? For me personally, I lay there in bed and think, there's so many trees I haven't painted. There's so many flower species I haven't captured. Will I ever capture them? How will I find the time? There's so many. There's so many faces. I'll never capture everyone's face. How will I prioritize certain faces? What faces will be prioritized? What meaning can I put behind them? And what meaning should I be focusing on? And in this world of a crazy spectrum of possible ideas branching out in all possible directions, I fall on thinking, actually, what if I focus on vitality and joy? What if I can just bring more of that in there? What if whatever I express, whatever the subject matter is, I try and get vitality and joy out of it or transpose it onto it to try and bring more of that into the world? Just get that one goal. Just get that one thing. Anything else is a bonus, but if you can get that one, that'll be fantastic. So that's the direction that I head in. That's what I try and do. And I think sometimes we nail it. Sometimes we get a little lost. Sometimes we find our way back, and that's okay. You don't have to have it 24/7. But I think we do our best to always head in the right direction. So that's compelling. There we go. Just a little bit of this through some parts. I think we'll grab back out. After I get a little bit of this face here, we're going to leap off and come on back with some oil. That's a fun one. Cheers, John. That is a fun one. There we go. Just like I say, the face doesn't want to be pristine. Doesn't want to be pristine. It wants to be more rough. Hercules' face, it's almost a, like I was saying, it's almost a bad joke that we give less attention to the head because we're actually almost pointing to the fact that we do not care about his guile or his brain. We only care when we think of Hercules, the big, tough man, and painting it in pink and then not giving attention to the face sort of brings attention to that in a funny way. Sort of a unique way of acknowledging it, an ironic way. Like, how can it be so sensitive and yet care nothing for the face? I kind of like that. It's not me. It ain't me. It's Hercules. Get this up in here. It's getting hot in here. Here we go. Beautiful. Jessie Lynn, hello. How you doing? There we go. This is a very fun painting though. And it's a really, really interesting way to express form, I think. I like form in human bodies. And the funny thing about this though is, when I say form, Hercules is quite bulgy. That's one kind of form. Typically the most fun kind of form is usually the ones that can catch light in interesting ways, that obscure the actual limbs of the person. And like in this case here, for example, the reason why I chose this picture of Hercules, see the shadows here and how they actually hit in these different angles. They're not actually showing you an obvious back with two arms and a buttocks. They're actually, this area here is this dark sort of double triangle shape that sort of ignores the back completely. The shadows cut in really interesting ways. There's going to be a building here which adds in more black too. The arms are sort of lumpy units that dangle down, but not really in the form of regular arms. I think that the way the shadows hit this makes it really interesting. But you don't need to be bulgy and muscular to have a very, very interesting and alluring form to be drawn. Sometimes the most interesting forms are the simpler ones. But the key is how it is captured by the light. Okay, moving on. What's the next color gonna be? You love the painting? That's fantastic. I'm glad you like it. All right. What is the next color going to be? This is a good question. We're going to use white, of all the things. You might be like, no, Seb, don't use white. You'll ruin it. We'll risk it. We'll risk it for the biscuit. Right. Or are we going to use yellow? No, I like the subtlety of the yellow's already in it. I think if we add some more, we'd overdo it. We won't do that, but we will get some white. Here we go. White. And we're going to use this brush. Take off a bit of that. There we go. And a little bit of water. There we go. There we are. Thanks, Jay Smith. I appreciate that. I just uploaded a few of the print. You've seen a lot of these prints before, guys. I've just had a few of them put back up on the website. I was doing some small adjustments to the printing. While I was doing it, I had them pulled offline. And now they're back up, which is pretty exciting. Not all of them, but a few of them. So bear with me while I slowly bring back the prints. These things take time. Good afternoon. It is afternoon here, actually. Wow. Team, time got away. It is 2:30. 2:30. But hey, what a time. This has been a fun picture, actually. Being a fun picture is a fun picture. It's going to continue to be a fun picture. There's a cheeky element to this as well. That's what I like about this, actually. It has this cheeky element. It's definitely a... Is it sass? No, it's just cheeky. There we go. Hello, Jenny. Which Hercules is this? There have been so many. There have been so many? Let's just put this down to, I want you to imagine that this is the Hercules. For me personally, this is the Hercules from Stephen Fry's book, Heroes. He wrote Mythos, I loved it. I went and bought Heroes. I read Heroes, I loved it. And now I think there's another one out, which I'm going to read as well. But the reason why I like this one is I like that Hercules because it tells a story quite accurately, but it also has this sort of joking, enjoyable humor to it. Stephen Fry's humor, I think that's the best way to put it. And he really brings the character to life, where you can respect and understand Hercules without glorifying him. And I think that's quite cool. I think we've got this habit of glorifying gods and men. But Stephen Fry doesn't glorify, he humanizes. And that's quite refreshing because even in books that don't attempt to glorify a main character, they kind of do. But I never felt like Stephen Fry crossed too much of a line with the way he depicted Hercules. He did it perfectly. All right. And let's get a little bit more in here. There we go. I'm doing a rock around here. Perfect. And Caucus from the back, I think. I think you are right, actually, John. John is correct. But like I say, let the facts lapse a little bit here. Let them lapse and let us, for anyone who has read it, let this be the Hercules from the Stephen Fry books. And let us enjoy it for that element. That's kind of beautiful. Thanks, Z. Appreciate it. And Sarah, I'm doing good. Lovely to have you here. Hercules. What I would like to do, John, is I'd like to, and everyone here obviously, I'd like to go back to that book and read Stephen Fry's version of Hercules one more time and find some cheeky line. Just like we called Santa Fe the city different, its nickname, and we call the New York the Big Apple. There'll be a line from someone, perhaps the man who holds up the world, the giant who holds up the world. There'll be a line from someone that describes Hercules in the most phenomenal way, but it's subtle, and you'd need to sort of be in the know to understand where it's coming from. So, glad to be here. Dental operation. All right. Well, you're more than welcome to be here, and welcome, Chatty Chat. Yeah, I'm enjoying the colours on this one. This is bread and butter Seb Gower colours. I think we all know that. So bread and butter Seb Gower colours, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of this actually, a little bit of Payne's Grey. It's going to highlight some of those darker areas. We probably need more than I grabbed just then. There we go. And just a little bit of water. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Here we go. Beautiful. Mix that in, nice and strong, and then we're going to start cutting in, creating that form in a few little spots. Probably a little bit too wet with some of that colour. We can get that more buttery. When I say buttery, it's not perfectly butter, but butter's the best word to describe the texture of the paint. How long have I been painting for today? Well, I've probably been painting for, jeepers, you need someone to tell you, because I've lost track. But in terms of painting, in terms of my life, long time. I was getting interviewed the other day, actually, team, by Women's Day. And they were wanting to know how long I've been full-time painting for, which is actually, since I left my job, well, the first time I shared the art was back in October 2021. So, wait, or 2020. I'm forgetting now. I had to pull the dates up for them. But the point of the matter is, I did a lot of painting. I talk a lot about painting and then destroying what you made. For me, I didn't think I needed to show it to the world. It didn't occur to me to sell the art. It just occurred to me to make it a process-driven thing to help make me a better person. And then, once people wouldn't let me destroy it anymore, that's when commissions and things like that came in. But I think I only left my job about 2 years ago. 2 years of making art, full-time. I've loved every second of it, I tell you that for free. It still feels weird sometimes keeping the art after you spend years just not. You know, but I think that's part of the training, part of my training of actually not keeping any result. And that's how we can come in here right now and get so caught up in the process and be so honest and raw with it. Because I'm not hung up on the end result, guys. I've seen so many results get created and destroyed. And created and destroyed. With the only purpose of them being to have a good time while you make it. So it's an absolute privilege to be here making another one with you. But, a part of me gets a little bit whimsical or sad that all that art, years of art, doesn't exist. But another part of me knows that we wouldn't be painting like this today had it not ceased to exist. It seems odd. Well, John, what when I first started, when I was painting, when I was sorry, not when I first started, when I was painting in my, I was working, sorry, a lot. A lot. Work was hectic, and I knew I needed something to keep me sane. Something, a rock. And painting was something I knew I could express myself through and feel a bit more of an attachment to me. And so I started to pursue painting. And as I pursued it, I didn't think of keeping the end result. It was never the point. The point of it, the only point of it, was for me to feel more human. And so when I come to you guys and get really cheesy about the process, falling in love with that, I did that. And there's a huge difference between my art prior and art after. And yeah, it got me here today. And yes, Watsui, Watusi Jenkins, read that book. It's so good. Stephen Fry is an incredible writer. You can absolutely go to classes, but at the end of the day, they can't teach you, and I say this as well, how to have a good time. You need to learn that. You can learn any lessons you want to learn. You can go onto YouTube and ask the specific question, what colors should I combine with green? How to do this, how to do that. You can learn whatever you want. But no one can teach you. Not even a grandmaster can teach himself or herself or anyone else how to have fun, how to make the process vitalizing, and how to enjoy it. You, in your own mind, by yourself, need to figure that one out. And once you figure it out, nothing can stop you as an artist. Nothing. You'll fall in love with every single moment you're painting, and you'll find a way to paint. Maybe you'll get a different job to make it possible. Who knows? Maybe like Monet. Maybe like Picasso, you'll become an art dealer on the side. But once it becomes a vitalizing process, it'll be something you can't live without. And that's a healthy way for it to be. All right. I mean, so many times. You hear about it all the time. And I'm sorry for those who have heard me say this before, but how many times do you hear of someone saying, oh, I can't, I love art. I'm still practicing. I'm figuring it out, as if the value of their art for themselves is based entirely on it being good by the judgment of another person. How silly. The ultimate consumer of art is the artist. And we've sort of dehumanized that, given that part of yourself away. Take it back. There we go. Yeah, this is a fun one. This is a fun one. And I hate to cut it short, but we're actually at a stage now, being dangerously close to a stage of completion with this one. Not completed as a painting, but completed as far as we can take it today. There we go. Was one of the... Bada boom, 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 boom. Bada boom, 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 boom. There we go. And we're going to call that complete. It's funny. Sometimes I see or I feel like doing one last big, brushstroke to finish it off. And it's never about that. It's never about the big finale brushstroke. That one's as significant as the first one, as significant as any of the ones in the middle. But by doing it, by enjoying that little process, we get a real thrill. So, there's our man Hercules. Not completed, but as far as we're going to take him today. And there's some real beauty in here too. So the acrylic paint, as it goes on top, it dries immediately, but the oil paint hasn't. So the acrylic paint will try and crack and split, and it'll have this amazing crackle effect, which I love personally. I really like it. It's like a little deserts of acrylic paint on top of oils. Big fan, big fan. Anyway, I'll take you close to it real quick. Bear with me for a second. I'll just come over here. We'll do a little rotation, and so you can see up close on old Hercules' back. Bear with me for a moment. We're going to zoom. In we come. So you can see up close here how wild these brush strokes are. And I like the sun-kissed nature. I really, really like this yellow coming into it. And if we keep coming in here, you can see a couple of things. First off, you're going to start seeing the running lines of acrylic and oil paint. And these brush strokes are going to stop looking like muscles and form and start looking a whole lot more like a scraggly mess of paint bouncing over itself, causing itself a traumatically chaotic mess. Look at that. You get these running drips. Kind of like those ones. Completely wrong place, but I like them. This is what I'm talking about. This chaotic little scruffy mess. And see that one there? That's what I'm talking about with that crackle nature. That's the acrylic. That's how it's broken, because it's straight on top of the oils. Now, out we come. Notice as these brush strokes still look chaotic, but as we come back further, we start to see form. We start to see form. And then right about here, we stop seeing the chaotic brush strokes. And it gives way to an overall picture, an unavoidable picture of a human being in his totality. Perfect. And that is the description of Hercules. Very, very fun. Chaos, total chaos. Yes, exactly right. It is chaos. It's the best kind of chaos. It's my favorite kind of chaos. How messy and disjointed is that? The painting is better the more close you go. If you come close to it at about that distance, we were about this far away with the zoom, and all we saw was chaotic brush strokes and crackling paint and disorderly lines of expression. But when we come right back, there's a picture. That's what we're after. That's that 50-50. That's that 50% to the chaos of a painting and 50% to the chaos of paint. 50% to the chaos of painting and 50% to the likeness or the expression or the idea that we're trying to grab. So that's the medium meeting the idea perfectly, 50-50. All right, team. I've used up all my paint now, and we've proven that we can't use these oils inside the studio. They're just a little bit fumey. So we're going to cut it there, and I will be back. I will be back. It won't be 5 days this time, I promise you guys. I'll be back probably tomorrow morning, and if it's windy again, we'll just tuck ourselves somewhere in the forest, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be a little bit weird on the lighting, but at least we'll get to hang out outside and start some fantastic new works. So Mardi Gras, the family shot, Hula Girl, and there's another one too, which is coming into it, a couple's shot. So we've got 4 inbound over the next month, and I'm excited. Let's get into it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining, all you incredible people. If I've kept you up because you've been waiting for a stream, we've finally come back on, and you didn't want to miss it, I totally get it. And I'm sorry for keeping you up. But we'll be back again soon. And I say we'll, but I'll be back again soon. And all the best. Get a good night's sleep. Or have a great day. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Ooh, San Francisco. Yeah. Good night from the New Zealand studio team. Bye.